Hello, my name is Stephanie Blough, and I'm the chairwoman of the FPA's Young Patients Committee. Today, I am here to introduce the YPC to those of you we have not had the pleasure of connecting with yet and share what it is that the YPC does for the facial pain community. The YPC was formed over a decade ago to give support and be a voice for those that are 40 years of age and younger. Contrary to the historical theory that facial pain is a disorder of the older generations, our group is a recognition that sadly, young people get facial pain too, and there's an importance to including all ages when working towards better treatments and ultimately the wish of a cure. The YPC assists in fulfilling the mission of the Facial Pain Association by representing the interests of young facial pain patients. We make recommendations to the FPA Board of Directors regarding issues that are concerned specifically to young patients and develop events, opportunities, and initiatives on behalf of young patients and their families. Currently, we are a committee of 6 people across the US and UK that have varying forms of facial pain. As young patients ourselves, we have been through the search for a diagnosis, many different forms of treatments, some successful, some not, and the everyday grind of living with facial pain, all while embarking on new life milestones. We donate our time and experience with hopes to help young patients know there is life despite the pain. Some of the areas we touch include how to recognize triggers. We share ways of maintaining a social life, offer advice on handling facial pain at school or at work, and we share tips on becoming an empowered patient. In the spirit of sharing, 2 of our committee members have written letters to the community on a couple of the topics we are asked about most. I'd like to read those letters to you now. Lindsey shares, life events are hard, y'all. In the past year, I have gotten a puppy, graduated college, bought a house, got engaged, started working full-time, moved into that house, and started planning a wedding. That's a lot for anybody, but for someone with facial pain and chronic health conditions, it can be even more daunting. There are 2 main tips that have gotten me through all these crazy good life changes, and they both involve my life motto, expect the worst and hope for the best. 1, planning. Start planning early and make a list of everything that needs to get done. Make a separate column on your list to include things that might need to be altered if you're having a bad pain day or life just simply happens. While you hope to not need these plans, it's calming to know that you have options, and it's not the end of the world if something happens. Break down the list of everything that you need to. Smaller tasks seem much more achievable, especially when you are in pain. Give yourself plenty of time and plan to have everything done early. This allows you to take some time off if you need to. Listen to your body and don't push it too hard. It's better to take a few days off here and there than end up in a flare for weeks unable to do anything. Number 2, a Mary Poppins bag. Have nearly everything you could possibly need on you at all times for easy access. While it can be a pain to tote around a bag, and we hope to not need anything that is in it, knowing you have resources available to you can help you enjoy the moment. Abortive medications, extra doses of morning or night medications in case you end up staying the night somewhere, essential oils, muscle rub, earplugs, emergency ID wallet, card, and bracelet with QR code to doctor's information, conditions, medications, and emergency contacts. As I mentioned, I'm getting married, so I also wanted to share some thoughts on relationships too. Number 1, be upfront. My first initial thought was to find the right time to bring up my health conditions, but in the grand scheme of things, there will never be a right time. It's a hard topic and personally, I have found it easier to discuss it early on. It's less stress on you because you have not having to hide a huge part of your life, and it is a topic that makes or breaks a new relationship. I would rather know early on if it was not going to work. Number 2, educate them about your health. If you are anything like me, it's hard to let others help you. But when you find the perfect person, they care about you so much that they want to do everything they can to help you feel better. Educating them about your conditions, your triggers, what helps, and medications you are on allows you to take a step back from being your own caregiver and allows them the opportunity to help you. And 3, communicate. Be open about how you are feeling. As your relationship blossoms, your partner will oftentimes be able to tell you how you are feeling just by looking at you or the sound of your voice. But this isn't something that happens overnight, and it's not humanly possible for them to pick it up 100% of the time. Let them know how you're feeling. Tell them when something is making your pain worse. If you need something, ask. My next letter comes from Kenzie. She writes, living with facial pain is challenging enough, and all we want to do is live day to day doing things that we deem as normal. For a lot of people, that means working. Whether it be a want or a need, working is something that we will all have to juggle with our facial pain. When I first entered the workforce, I was nervous that my facial pain would be a cause of discomfort for those that I worked with. I was nervous to tell my supervisors, and when I made my mind up to tell what would I share. For me, I found that being honest was the best course of action. Bringing honesty and transparency to the table made me more comfortable, and in turn, that prevented a stress-induced flare. I'm not saying you need to share your whole story, but I was clear about my facial pain diagnosis, my needs as someone living in pain, and the likelihood of my use of sick days. What I was met with was understanding and compassion. In truth, we live in a society now that is almost totally remote, which gives us the flexibility to work from bed if we're having a rough day, or the ability to flex working hours so that we can make that 1 p.m. doctor's appointment without causing so much of a disturbance, maybe even taking a nap on your lunch break. There were also small things I did to maximize on when I wasn't feeling good. For me, my pain is always worse in the mornings, so I got in the habit of scheduling meetings for the afternoon. If I'm having a relatively good day, I'll call a coworker to discuss a project or just give someone a call to check in, when I usually would just email. This not only helps me feel connected to those that I work with, but I'm doing it on terms that make me comfortable. There are days that I'm in the office though, and it's not so far in our future that we might all be fully in person again. When I do, I usually do a meditation in my car before I go into the building. This helps me to feel grounded and calm, which usually lends itself to less facial pain flares. I'm not nervous about being asked to work in person full time though, because I know I've been honest about my situation and I've proven I can get work done remotely. I'm confident that we are entering a workforce era that will be more accommodating to those with chronic pain. Facial pain has taught me that I am capable of adapting to new situations. I had to change much of my daily routine when I started work, and it was hard at first, but it became my new normal. It also taught me the power of family and friends. Whenever I'm having a rough day, I know I can lean on those closest to me for support. Whether that brings me tea when I'm work from bed or sending me virtual hugs when I just want my mom with me. Regardless of your working situation, it's so important to create daily habits that make you feel your best. The most important advice I can give you is to be confident in your abilities no matter what. Your facial pain doesn't define you. You are strong. I hope you found Lindsey's and Kenzie's letters encouraging, and I thank them both for bravely sharing some of their stories here with you today. In closing, no matter where you are in your facial pain journey, we hope that you know that the Young Patients Committee is here for you. If you are 40 or younger and are looking for a support group, we meet monthly through Zoom and encourage you to watch the FPA's page for dates and times to join. Or feel free to email us at youngpatientscommittee@gmail.com, and we will add you to our communication distribution. If you are on social media, we can be found on Facebook as Young Patients Committee and on Instagram as TNYPC. Thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful, low pain rest of your day.